Hi, it's Mark from Mark My Words. I saw Captain Marvel last night. Didn't have a chance to post my review then, so I'm doing it now. Please stay tuned. I'm going to give you my thoughts on whether I thought it was a good movie and whether you should go see it.
War is a universal language. I know a renegade soldier when I see one. Never occurred to me that one might come from above. Space invasion, big car chase. Truth be told, I was ready to hang it up till I met you today. So you're not from around here?
It's hard to explain. I keep having these memories. I see flashes. I think I had a life here. But I can't tell if it's real.
We have no idea what threats are out there. We can't do this alone. We need you.
I'm not what you think I am.
So Captain Marvel, starring Brie Larson, Samuel Jackson, Annette Bening, we have Jude Law, Clark Gregg. We have a pretty good cast. Great directors. Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck, best known for their work in Full Nelson, starring Ryan Gosling. Bit more of an indie fare, but very good. I like Marvel's take on kind of going untraditional with the use of directors and writers, as sometimes those small, independent, writers really work well in these different mainstream, big tentpole cinematic universes. So I applaud them. Let's talk about the movie. Brie Larson, Carol Danvers, is a Kree soldier, and she has been for as long as she believes, until she lands on Earth and has a bit of a wiped memory, and suddenly discovers she was there, and through flashbacks she discovers that she was somebody else, and the Kree are fighting the Skrulls, and there's this intergalactic battle going on between them, who's good, who's bad, and we're led to believe one is bad, one is good, and throughout the movie we see that there are different shades of truth and gray on who really is the bad guy. Now let's talk about some of the pros and cons of Captain Marvel. Pros. I like Sam Jackson as Nick Fury in this movie. I don't usually like Nick Fury in the other Avengers. He's always the one that just tells everyone what to do, and he's cranky, and he just plays the heavy, and that's his role, I get it. But he's a lot looser in this, and he's a little bit more fun, and he's sort of the Sam Jackson you've known in other movies, and there's just a really great CGI component. Because it takes place in the 90s, they de-age Sam Jackson, and they de-age Agent Coulson. And I tell you, there's a lot of great CGI in this movie, but I think that is probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. Marvel did that also with Ant-Man and the Wasp, with Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Douglas in the beginning scenes. They make them look young, and I tell you, they do a fantastic job. You don't even look twice at either of them and not question that that is their age. That's how good the technology is, and it's very impressive. Another good aspect, pro, I will say, is the interplay between Brie Larson and Sam Jackson. Bit of that good buddy cop dynamic between them, and I think their interplay, they worked with each other on Skull Island, so there is that built-in camaraderie that must exist there, and it does come through on the screen. Goose the cat. Yeah. Goose the cat. It's a bit silly, however, it's funny, and I think I got my most enjoyable moments from every time that cat was on the screen. Tesseract hairball. You'll know what I mean once you see the movie. I'm not spoiling anything, just Tesseract hairball. Putting it out there. Great cast. We have Jude Law, Annette Bening, Sam Jackson, Brie Larson, Sam Mendelsohn, and a lot of others that I'm not naming there. And obviously we have the MCU universe, a lot of winks and people coming into the frame. It was a beautiful Stan Lee homage in the beginning. And there was a cameo from Stan Lee in the movie as well. Now, the con list of Captain Marvel, for me, is longer than the pros list. I'm gonna start at the top, and it breaks my heart because I like her, and I really was rooting for her because it seems a lot of the trolls were coming after Brie Larson. I don't know why. I really am not getting into this social warrior justice, but she seems to be in the maelstrom of all that, but I didn't go in thinking about any of that, and I don't care about any of that. I'm gauging her on her performance, and I just really felt it was very wooden. She just seemed very detached from emotion, and I was watching a bunch of other YouTube reviews, and some other people were writing reviews about this movie as well, and either she was given direction to just be a little bit detached, and she played it very arrogantly, and I just couldn't connect with her. I wanted her to be maybe a bit more human, and she just wasn't, and I don't know, I didn't like what she was doing with the character. At no point did I really there were moments where she kind of, and I think she possesses it. I've seen her in other movies, and I've seen her in talk shows, and it irritates me when an actor who has that ability, it doesn't show it, and it wasn't shown here. So her being the lead, they didn't really bring out the best in her, although she's got potential, right? She has that skill set. She's a great actress. She won an Academy Award for Room, so clearly she does have the skills. They just have to highlight them better, so there is potential. So this is a con, but I think in the future installments it'll be a pro. A con in this movie, Jude Law. I can't stand Jude Law, and I apologize. I'm trying to be positive here. This is the con list though, so I'm gonna just go at it. I just don't like Jude Law. I've never liked him in any movie I've ever seen, and this one I still don't like him. Just something about the guy, but you know, I'm sure a lot of people like Jude Law, and he really is fine. I'm just being nitpicky. Brie Larson's a Mary Sue. We've heard this word a lot. I didn't even know what that meant until recently with all the Star Wars hype about Rey being a Mary Sue. I get it now. And I think Captain Marvel at a certain part of this movie is a Mary Sue, and it's someone who just seems to have no struggles, and it's just nuanced in everything, and there's just no challenges, and you can't relate to that. There's a part in this movie where she just turns on her powers to 11, and it's almost just too much where I didn't relate. I guess this is a superhero movie, you're supposed to just disconnect from reality, but that said, I just don't feel that connection, and I feel she's a Mary Sue, and just, I know they did a good job of trying to write her with struggles and such, but it doesn't come off that way, and I think she comes off as a Mary Sue. I think the pacing was actually kind of slow. The beginning was action-packed, but I was confused by it, just very confused by the beginning. And I watched every Marvel movie, and I read comic books as a kid, so I'm not absolutely baseline zero here. I do have some understanding of what's going on. I saw the Infinity Wars. I've seen these other shows and movies. I get it, and I was confused. And then it moves into this really slow, drab part of the movie, and by the second act it picks up, and I liked basically how it ended, but it was just slow, and I didn't like it in parts. I give this movie a C+. I wanted to like it more than I did. In the end, it's not really a bad movie, nor is it a great movie. I kind of liken it to Thor 2, Iron Man 2, where all of the players that really are talented, that were part of other successes, are there. great cast, good directors, producers. You have the whole Marvel universe backing this movie. It doesn't quite connect. So it was disappointed, and I didn't have any expectations for this movie. I know really very little bit about Captain Marvel, or as I learned, she was referred to in the 70s or late 60s as Ms. Marvel, and it evolved into Captain Marvel, and she had some past with the Avengers, and then landed into some Uncanny X-Men comic episodes. And I was a huge comic book geek, and I just have zero knowledge of Captain Marvel. So I also just sort of question Marvel why they're going with Captain Marvel as their first heroine action movie. I was surprised they didn't go with Black Widow as their first movie, as she had such tie-ins with the Avengers and such a past where I thought that actually would have worked out a little bit better. This has been Mark from Mark My Words, giving you my review on Captain Marvel. Absolutely go see it. Everyone will be talking about it. There's nothing wrong with this movie, just nothing particularly astoundingly great. So make sure you set your expectations, and I think you'll have a pleasurable viewing experience. Appreciate any feedback you're willing to offer, any likes you're willing to bestow. Please subscribe. We'll be doing more of these reviews soon. Thanks again for watching.